Ready or not, here comes Mama.
Look at her. But I ain't one to gossip, so if anyone asks you, you ain't heard it from me.
I know I'm late, and I know you was probably waiting on me, but I was busy. I was in my garden. I had things to do, but I'm here now. And if you've got the time, I've got the tea. So let's go ahead and talk. So today we're going to be talking about, you guessed it, if you read the title, Trisha can't keep my lies straight Paytas, okay? And it's very interesting because Trisha Paytas went ahead and made a video, but it was a whole lot of nothing, in my opinion, because she basically was saying the same old thing that she's been saying. Like, you know, it's all H3's fault. It all comes from the H3 subreddit. You know, don't take no accountability for herself, even though she kept screaming to the gods like, I get it. I take accountability. Girl, she didn't take no kind of accountability. Not one little incy-wincy little ounce.
You know, this lying thing has come around recently that Trisha lies so much. There's a difference between misspeaking, hearing things and not getting all the facts right, not fact checking, and also versus sharing something you know to not be true for the malicious intent of tricking someone or making someone look bad. And so I get stories mixed up. I hear things from people and I don't fact check, and that was ultimately why I should never have had a podcast. I should never have been on Frenemies, but I'm not the only person in the world to do that. Having said that, I have never lied about any things that have happened to me. I've only felt comfortable enough sharing and stating the name of somebody after I had been told about what I said, and I will correct myself, was arrest for CP, which is actually fired for watching P in a classroom full of kids. I've never lied. It was a hard thing for me to even say then, but I felt safe enough to do it because of that reason. I've only ever felt safe enough to talk about someone when other people are talking about them and you're like, okay. A lot of it's getting mixed up with what I said is specifically. First and foremost, the family's getting doxxed. This man in question is deceased and the family is getting harassed, which it's turned into a lot. And the source of all this is the H3 subreddit. That is without a doubt where it's from. I check it like I would check up on a toxic ex-boyfriend, trying to figure out like what they're saying, what's happening next. And that's where all of it's stemming from. All the information and the harassment. And I was just getting harassed constantly over the weekend saying, apologize to the person because of a video that someone just Googled some facts, said this person is this, and this, saying their name. So it's sending more hate to the family, saying their hate name to me, which was just beyond triggering. Because here's the thing, I never thought any of this was a problem. I thought relationships I had with teachers and older professionals my entire life as a child, as a minor, as a teenager, was fine. No one talked about it. No one said it wasn't like. And even for me, I never felt trauma. I've talked about this numerous times. I never thought it was trauma. I never thought it was trauma until I started unpacking it. And I was like, oh, this might be the reason for this. I switched school districts 5 different times. I went to Byron School District up until the age of 14, and I switched for a different reason. That was also misconduct. So I have no sympathy for what I said. I have no sorrow for that. I just wish literally families weren't getting harassed, and also I wasn't getting harassed for it.
You know, people on Twitter came out and there were like other messages and stuff where they were trying to reach out to people that knew her from her home state of Byron, Illinois. And the teacher did exist, right? So that was true. But it seemed like if, you know, and there was an instance where they did say that he did look up some questionable link or something while he was in class. But it was really interesting to me because he didn't get arrested. As a matter of fact, you know, he was a teacher for years and years and years up until I guess he retired or whatever. So that was really interesting. And she's talking on a video where she talks about her teachers in her past and where she was the one who was like pursuing them and she had crushes on the teachers. She even made a whole video on how to seduce your teachers. And she even says in a video like that nothing happened. She'd probably be even more messed up or whatever if something did happen with one of her teachers. So it's really, really confusing to me.
I had the biggest crush on a teacher named Mr. Baker, who was the high school wrestling coach, and he was premature gray, and he was so cute. And he was my English teacher and my gym teacher. Coincidence? I think not. I picked classes specifically scheduled like to be in his classes. We had heart rate monitors, and said I was like, Mr. Baker, I don't know how to get my heart rate monitor on. So I was weird. I was a little Lolita. Well, in the sense that like it was one side of Lolita. Nothing illegal happened with my teachers ever. But like little naughty Trisha definitely was like into my teachers so much. It was weird. I don't know. I probably would have been even more traumatized from life if I ever did anything with a teacher. I didn't love my high school teachers, we'll put it that way. My middle school teachers were actually, all the teachers I was thinking of were like middle school, like Mr. Riney was middle school, Mr. Hartman was middle school, like all those people I was thinking of was like middle school. So I didn't love my teachers. It was very, classes were awful. I took biology with a teacher I didn't like. He liked all the pretty popular girls. I took Spanish with a teacher that I didn't like. He was like weird and a soccer coach and like did not like me. Yeah, it just was not a fun year.
Apparently she made it seem like if he was like looking up this stuff actively in the classroom with all these children, right? Well, then in one of the messages, somebody is saying how the teacher was sent a link and that it had some questionable link on it or whatever, and that he did see that in class and that he was reported. But apparently it was by some like parents or whatever that really didn't care for him. So I thought that was interesting. And not only that, but because Trisha Paytas did come out in another video talking about how her mom, I guess, worked at the school or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, when it came out that these people were saying that like it was allegedly like a group of parents that didn't like this teacher for whatever reason, it just kind of made me go like, you know, things that make you go, that's what it did for me. So I was just like, very interesting. I don't know. Trisha kept on saying how she doesn't know why all these people are attacking her. Well, girl, you're the one who put it out there. You even told people to go look it up.
I've always been vocal on social media because I was silenced, not to give like a silly reference in this, but I was silenced for so long at my school growing up. I had 3 different incidences with 3 different teachers in regards to SA, R word, and M word. It happened in the school. And one principal didn't believe me. 2, I was too scared to speak up. And 3, the teacher said I was like asking for it. So it was like looked over. The one that I was too scared to speak up on, someone else spoke up years later and he ended up getting arrested. Byron, Illinois. Look it up. His name was Mr. Riney for looking up CP at school.
It's just really all interesting to me because this is like a pattern of behaviors when it comes to Gabby Hanna. I mean, Trisha Paytas. She puts all of this subject matter out there, right? And then when it comes back to bite her in the you-know-what, then she's got a problem. And it hasn't just happened one time. It's been multiple times. And I've been looking up stuff to find it like little discrepancies in all of her like whole YouTube career. And there's a lot. The other thing that I found really interesting, and it ain't even interesting, it's really disgusting if you ask me, is the way that she weaponizes this whole, you know, mental illness thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she ain't got nothing wrong with her because, I mean, Lord knows. I mean, this is like the way she did the whole DID community thing and saying that she had this and that and the third, right? She has like said multiple times recently that she wasn't diagnosed with things, but that the medications that they had her on or whatever that were for certain things, and that's why she thought that she had, you know what, I'll just go ahead and let you watch here. And even Dr. Drew said that she ain't no schizophrenic or whatever. So, I mean, I thought that was interesting, but I'm going to go ahead and let you watch that for yourself, and then we'll come back and talk about that.
I understand you had a schizophrenia diagnosis at one time. That is not what you have, but I could see how if you're having these kinds of symptoms, somebody might think that.
Well, they put me on medication for schizophrenia. I don't know, like if I have it, but that's what I'm on right now. And it's like this new. It's like I don't know. If
No.
it's like
You're having borderline. You should know this about borderline syndrome. But borderline, the name borderline was originally invented by psychoanalysts. It was like during the 50s or maybe before that. To what was borderline was they were considering these patients borderline psychotic, and so they were people that were having psychotic symptoms but were not schizophrenic. You understand? And so the psychotic symptoms can be helped with the antipsychotics. It's just part of the borderline process.
That's so interesting because I went, because my therapist can't give me medication. So I went to a psychiatrist and it was just 2 or 3 meetings and they were like, oh, you should be on this medication. And so it's helped with it. But so it's psychosis is part of borderline because I thought it was 2 different like disorders. I thought there was like a psychotic disorder and a mental disorder.
No, it was originally called borderline psychotic. That was the original term. And because there can be prominent psychotic symptoms, but they don't progress, they don't go anywhere. They're just, part of what, they can come and go, much like you're experiencing it. I'm wondering if maybe all your drug use didn't suppress that.
And that could be because I think I've done drugs my entire life of some sort. So when I became completely sober, which was January, which I was really happy, I just bought a new house. I loved it. That's when it started happening. And I was like, it was really scary.
There's also a lot of overlap between borderline and bipolar. And I'm guessing you have a lot of bipolar type symptoms, or maybe people have wondered, is Trisha bipolar, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I was diagnosed with, or I was at least given medication for it. I don't know if it was a diagnosis, but I was given lithium and that's when I was like wanting to kill myself. Like that was awful. I don't know what that was. That was really awful for me.
Wrong diagnosis, right? You get the right diagnosis and the right treatment. You notice how DBT worked, right? The right treatment for the right diagnosis makes you better.
Even he will be like, so I'm borderline personality. He's, well, you have traits of it. You have traits of it. Is that an actual diagnosis? I don't know. He doesn't write anything down. I was like, let's see paper. I don't have paper that says that. I don't know where you get that paper. I have more paperwork that would point to signs of schizophrenia. Now, again, has someone like written a prescription? Well, they've actually written a prescription for schizophrenic medication that has to do with hallucinations. But I've never got a paper written like, you have this. But I've had traits of schizophrenia, and which is also traits of borderline, to be fair. But that's not what was told to me. You know what I mean? And it's sad. There's no actual diagnosis. Then people are like, you are, you know, I don't know. I guess everyone has a different story, but I've never had a piece of paper that said anything. And I've gotten medication for bipolar. I've gotten medication for schizophrenia again when I was younger, schizophrenia now. I've been going to borderline classes. So, well, what is my diagnosis? Like, I don't know. I also have traits of bipolar, and I was on bipolar medication. Does that make me bipolar? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I was on the wrong medication, but I feel you.
Now, the reason that I think that that's really interesting is because I ain't going to name no names, but I know somebody who was in trouble a lot when they were a child. And this person did have something happen to them, so I'm not discrediting them at all. But this person also did know and like told me like low key, like I already know if I get into a fight or if something happens, whatever, all I got to do is tell them that I got a mental illness and then they can't do nothing to me. So it's just kind of like, you know, is Trisha Paytas doing something along the same lines? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's really interesting to me that whenever something happens to little Miss Trisha Paytas, then all of a sudden she cries, you know, mental illness and she can't take it and leave her alone, and even insinuating that she might do something to herself if none of this stops. Now, I don't know about y'all, but to me, it feels like a type of a manipulation. Now, again, I'm not saying that she ain't got nothing wrong with her. I'm just saying that it just feels manipulative. I mean, I don't know if it's just me. Correct me if I am wrong. But she even said for herself that she hasn't had nothing diagnosed on paper. And I thought that that was really interesting. And let's not forget, like if she's this like big mental health advocate or whatever, like the way that she mocks Anna Nicole Smith and one of her most epic mental breakdowns, because, and also she was on drugs, let's just be real. But you know, she also did some stuff that I was just like, oh my God, like why would you even joke around about that? Like stuff like about JonBenet Ramsey, you know, and kind of like mocking the alleged incestuous event that occurred to JonBenet Ramsey shortly before her death. And I just thought that that was disgusting. And then on top of that, to find that she has really weird opinions on incest. I mean, you can see for yourself.
Trisha.
We're gonna go for a little ride outside and back.
Trisha, look at me. YouTube thinks you've lost your mind.
Huh?
YouTube thinks you've lost your mind.
I didn't lose my mind.
Well, they think you have.
I didn't.
Is this a mushroom trip?
Huh?
Is this a mushroom trip?
Huh?
A mushroom trip.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding.
What does that mean?
I'm kidding. I said this footage is worth money.
Why? What footage?
This thing you're looking into.
Camera.
Exactly.
Incest is the best. That's what I say. I always want to make. My brother's really hot. I mean, I think about it often. It's true. My brother's hot, and this brother's hot. He is. Do you ever think about your family? Like they're really good looking. Really?
No,
my brother's.
that's one.
You're like, I'm the best looking.
Like I envisioned, but I do look just like my dad.
Really? So you're like, he's hot.
Why don't you go cheat on Jason Moore?
With who? Who would cheat on him?
What were you doing in Colorado?
Seeing my family.
Seeing your family? What kind of backwards twist life you have? You were having sex with your brother.
No, ew, I wish.
You wish?
I do. I love incest.
That's one of my favorite role plays is brother sister. Incest, daddy daughter, mommy son.
Brother and sister,
Brother
really?
and sister. It's my favorite.
How do you play
Just
it?
like, ooh, mom's gonna hear us, be quiet.
I saw I got friended by this really hot guy. And so I clicked on him and I was like, oh my god, that's my cousin. Right? Okay. I was then thinking, is it wrong to think that your cousin is hot? I mean, it seems normal, right? So like, what's the worst that could happen if you guys dated? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you get married, you have babies. Like, everyone is related somehow. I mean, we all started with Adam and Eve, so if you're going to trace a bloodline forever back, I mean, we're all related. So then I was beginning to think, I was like, you know what? Let me send my cousin a message. So I sent him a message, right? And we went back and forth, and we were kind of flirting. Is that awkward? Is that weird? I feel a little weird about it. I'm not really sure. But like, I mean, is it weird that I think my cousin's hot? I don't really think so. I don't know. But then my friend was like, no, that's weird. I'm like, oh. And she's like, that's creepy. Stop even flirting with him. Because I was all like, hey, you should come out to LA. I was like, what a creeper. Am I a creeper? And I might be a creeper because he didn't respond or he hasn't responded yet. But he's super, super hot. I was thinking, damn, when did he get so hot? Like, we grew up in like this little hillbilly town in Illinois. So I was thinking, how did he get so hot? But he moved away, so maybe that's why he got hot. Super, super hot right now, right? So I don't know if I should probably stop. But is it weird, right? Okay, so like everyone knows that I'm like a huge fan of like 50s music, and I love Jerry Lee, and I love that he married his cousin. And granted, it's like his second cousin, but it's still his cousin. So I think first cousin, second cousin, what's it really matter, right? I mean, a hot cousin's a hot cousin. Would you date your hot cousin? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think there's anything wrong with dating them. Facebook me, please. Or call me. Have your mom call my mom. I'll get my number. Seriously, though. If you're watching, cousin, call me. Seriously. Daddy? Daddy, can you down here? Daddy? Daddy, what are you doing? No, please, no. No, Daddy, stop. Stop. Daddy, no. Please. I could live if you just call. Ring, 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 ring. Just call. A note. $118,000. That's the price of my life. Obviously, it was less than that.
She idolizes Andy Kaufman. Now, what I think is I think that she kind of built up this whole YouTube career off of like Andy Kaufman-esque type things. Like when she would do all these like trolling, like, oh, I'm a chicken nugget, and you know, all these things, right? And not only doing, you know, and she calls it trolls, I just call it appalling, because not only did she troll, you know, that she had DID, and you know, she was saying stuff about the LGBTQ community and things like that, but she has also trolled mental illness when she makes up these little mock videos, you know, kind of poking fun at Anna Nicole Smith and all this kind of stuff. And I think that ultimately in the end, it's biting her in the you-know-what, because people just ain't having it. What I've seen is that people like on YouTube, they want to see somebody who is authentic, somebody who is real, because we have had it, and I say we because I'm a small little YouTube channel, and I pretty much was watching YouTubers before I started making YouTube videos. So I think that it's time that we want influencers that like are open and honest to us, that they ain't trying to deceive us, they ain't trying to just, you know, get our money from us by lying to us about, oh, look at this product, like Trisha Paytas skincare, just saying, or, you know, things like that, or buy this product, like Gabby Hanna with her little makeup brushes, and then they suck, you know, and it's basically just us getting used. I think we're just tired is what I think. I think we're just tired of getting used. We want real, we want authentic, we want people that are not going to lie and manipulate. And I think that Trisha's bell has been rung and it's time for her to pay the piper. And, you know, that's all that she wrote. So I don't think, honestly, I wanted to see what Trisha Paytas had to say about this whole situation, which was a whole lot of nothing, because she's basically just putting all the blame on H3H3, you know, and which I think is ridiculous, because she's the one who put all of that info about herself out there. She's the one who made all of these, you know, Andy Kaufman-esque little videos of trolling and all this kind of stuff that's discrediting her whole reputation. So, like I said in my other videos, she's only got herself to blame. But, of course, you know, narcissists, manipulative people, they ain't gonna ever say that, and they ain't gonna own up to their part in things. So I think that's pretty much where we're at with her. I don't see us seeing any type of sincere apology or sincere change. She gonna be back to trolling, because I saw a video back in 2014 where she was talking about, yeah, I just don't want to have to deal with the drama and blah 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 blah. And girl, I was like, this was back in 2014, and look at all the drama she was in from that day, from that year on. So it just seems like a cycle of repetition with this girl, you know, and that's just what I got to say about that. But hey, just like, you know, if y'all got anything that y'all want to send to me, whatever, go ahead and send it my way, because if you've got the tea, I've got the time. Just like what I said earlier in the video, if you've got the time, I've got the tea. If you've got the tea, I've got the time too. So go ahead and send me some stuff if you want me to talk about it, or if it's a little bit of interesting tea, and then we can go ahead and talk about that. And until then, I'll see y'all on the next video. I'll talk to you later.